The Society of St. Pius X, or SSPX, is preparing to consecrate new bishops on July 1st. According to the Society, the reason is simple. Their remaining bishops are getting older, and they believe new bishops are needed to ensure the future of their priesthood and sacramental ministry. But the Vatican has warned that consecrating bishops without papal approval could be considered a schismatic act and could lead to automatic excommunication. In response, the SSPX has published a declaration of Catholic faith. The Society argues that it remains faithful to the Catholic Church and possesses what is necessary to remain in communion with Rome. Now, Cardinal Gerhard Müller has entered the debate, and his response has attracted attention throughout the Catholic world. Cardinal Müller is not known as a liberal voice. He served as prefect of the Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith and is widely respected by many conservative Catholics. He has even spoken positively about the traditional Latin Mass. In the past, he praised the spiritual richness of the older liturgy and criticized efforts to restrict it, calling such actions pastorally unwise. But despite that sympathy, Müller believes the SSPX is making a serious mistake. According to him, the heart of the problem is authority. Müller says that no Catholic can place his own judgment above the teaching authority of the Church. He argues that the SSPX has reached a point where it decides for itself which Church teachings should be accepted and which should be rejected. For the Cardinal, that creates a dangerous situation. To explain his concern, Müller points to Martin Luther. During the famous Leipzig Debate in 1519, Luther argued that church councils could make mistakes. According to Müller, that idea eventually weakened church authority and contributed to division. He believes the SSPX follows a similar path when it places its own interpretation of tradition above the Church's living teaching authority. Müller argues that Catholic unity depends on remaining connected to the bishops who are in communion with the Pope. Without that unity, every group could become its own judge of truth. The Cardinal also addressed one of the SSPX's biggest criticisms of the Second Vatican Council. The Society has long opposed parts of the document Dignitatis Humanae, which deals with religious freedom. Müller says the SSPX misunderstands the Council's teaching. According to him, the Council did not teach that all religions are equally true. Instead, it defended religious freedom as a basic human right while still maintaining that the Catholic Church possesses the fullness of revealed truth. He argues that in today's world, where Christians often face hostility, protecting freedom of conscience remains important. Müller also rejects the SSPX's argument that a state of necessity justifies the planned consecrations. In his view, such extraordinary actions could only be justified during extreme persecution, when communication with Rome becomes impossible. He says that is clearly not the situation today. The SSPX, he argues, is not cut off from the Church. It remains in contact with Rome. So what does Müller propose? Interestingly, he does not call for permanent separation. Instead, he suggests that the SSPX could potentially receive official recognition within the Church through a personal prelature or another canonical structure. But there is one condition. The Society would need to accept the Church's teachings in their entirety, including the documents of the Second Vatican Council. That would mean recognizing Pope Leo XIV as the final authority in matters of Catholic unity and doctrine. For many traditional Catholics, Müller's comments create a difficult challenge. He supports traditional liturgy. He respects many concerns raised by traditional Catholics. Yet he believes the SSPX is heading down the wrong path. In his view, the Society risks repeating historical divisions that harmed the Church in the past. The irony, Müller suggests, is that the SSPX could potentially keep everything it values most: the traditional Latin Mass, the traditional sacraments, its spiritual heritage, and perhaps even an official place within the Church. But first, he says, it must fully accept the authority of the Pope and the Church's teaching office. For Cardinal Müller, that is not a compromise. It is a fundamental part of what it means to be Catholic.